The Dodgers are considering delaying Walker Buehler's season debut as they look to manage his workload coming off his second Tommy John surgery. Apparently, Dave Roberts had this to say about Walker Buehler, quote, "He'll be ready to go in spring training, but when we decide to make his debut in 2024 is going to be determined. Whether it's the first week or a month later, we're going to kind of wait and see how spring goes." Apparently, Roberts said that back in December. I'm not exactly sure why we're only kind of hearing about it now, or it's coming to the surface. Chris, should we react to something like this? Because, look, Buehler was probably projected to miss time anyway, right? If you look at projections, it's like 130, 140 innings. So he was going to miss time at some point. It's just kind of unfortunate when you know that time could potentially be at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it'll be harder. Like if we get to March and he's not like stretched out all the way, it'll be harder to jump on him. But like when you're going 110th, you look at some of the guys around him and like, okay, Dylan Cease, zero injury concerns beyond the fact that he throws hard and he's a pitcher. After that, the pitchers going off the board: Joe Musgrove, Cole Reagans, Justin Verlander, Sonny Gray. Well, Sonny Gray, I guess, doesn't have a lot of injury concerns, but the other three guys there, quite a few workload, innings, performance concerns. That's the stretch at starting pitcher where you kind of expect that there are going to be some warts. And I'll look back to 2019. If you remember, there were similar concerns for Walker Buehler. If you remember, they didn't stretch him out in spring training. It was a deliberate choice. He didn't end up throwing 90 pitches in a start until April 17th. It could be something like that. Now, I would guess it's going to be a little later than that. And there are going to be times throughout the season where they skip starts, and that's going to be true, I think, of a lot of pitchers on the Dodgers. So I think downgrading him is potentially an overreaction given how good he could be, although I do have some performance concerns. But where he's going probably doesn't need to change too much, I wouldn't think.
I do have some questions about Walker Buehler, because if you remember last year, he was ramping up for a late season return. He pitched, I think, 1 or 2 innings in the minors. And then immediately stopped. And the Dodgers just kind of said, nope, we're not doing this. Let's put it off until spring training next year. It just kind of feels like maybe something happened. I don't know. I could be reading into it a little bit too much. ATC projections have Buehler as the SP 50 projected for 133 innings. He's currently the SP 29 in NFBC ADP. Ariel, my guess is after this news, Buehler will probably drop down ADP at least a little bit. How much? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, he'll drop down a little bit in ADP. He'll also drop down in projected value with the news coming out. I have reservations about anybody on the Dodgers, to be honest with you. Like Shohei Ohtani, is he going to get full playing time? Are they going to rush him back right away? Teoscar Hernandez, is he going to get playing time? They might save him for the playoffs. Anybody on the Dodgers, I just have concerns that they're going to be extra cautious. And Buehler hasn't been healthy recently. To me, it's too high a spot to pick somebody, a pitcher. You want a nice and solid investment when you're around your SP 50. I would take a chance on somebody else and not take the risk of Buehler, because honestly, you don't know exactly the story. We're just finding out bits and pieces now.
Yeah, I had Buehler at SP 30 in my rankings. I updated some things on Tuesday. I dropped him down to SP 39, just behind Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober, and Carlos Rodon, who obviously has his own injury concerns. But not far off from where you were originally, Chris. I know you were lower on Buehler. You had him around SP 35. So I kind of just got him down to where you had him, maybe even a little bit below that. So we'll see what happens if Buehler does miss time early on. Gavin Stone and Emmett Sheehan were mentioned as names that could step in. And personally, I do think that Sheehan has some breakout potential if given the opportunity.